One thing we will miss, because it's a World Series online festival, is we'll miss a Phil Hellmuth entrance. There's been plenty. I've been there myself. Well, the 4 years it was in London, I was there myself. You had the Lady Gaga's one year. You had the Caesar. What's been your favourite?
Caesar. I mean, I just got asked this question, so I know the answer. They just asked me. Caesar, man. I thought, listen, first of all, for Caesar, I was in the best shape of my life. Mm-hmm. So, you can see the muscle definition. I mean, I'm not some bodybuilder or anything, but you can see that. I mean, Norman Chad commented on ESPN that I looked really good in the Caesar thing and commented on my muscles. And that guy, Norman, who I actually love, and he loves me, but is the most critical of me, of anybody in the poker world, complimenting me on my outfit. And it was really fun. 4 guys carrying me in to the sidewalk. Yeah. And in London, we had an actual, chariot with a horse bring me in. But go back to the Vegas one, and I know that they paid. I know that just renting the costume cost $20,000 that I had on. I had a costume that had been used in the movies. And so, and I just saw pictures of the other day. And then they had all of the, the women, who then greeted me at the curb dressed in those white, beautiful, dresses and walking. I mean, that was cool. And, the first 2 or 3 entrances, I was really embarrassed. And then I just embraced it because I think it's great for poker. I think it brings eyeballs to poker. It's undeniably great for poker because we're doing fun stuff. Now, of course, the Thor entrance was cool because they showed it for 11 minutes straight on ESPN2. I mean, 11 minutes straight. What are those commentators talking about after a while,
Brilliant. If we had a poker Mount Rushmore, with Phil Hellmuth being the first person, the face there, you've got 3 more to join you. Would you be able to put 3 there?
Yeah, it has to be Phil Ivey, Doyle Brunson, and Johnny Chan. The big bracelet winners.
Absolutely.
Well, who did I say?
Yep.
Yeah.
Ivey.
Those guys are all tied at 10 bracelets, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And all have been, Johnny Chan, people don't know how great he is. Like, he's been playing in the biggest games in the world almost every day since the 1980s. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's only when the young generation gets a chance to play with him, in the biggest poker games in the world, that they say, wow, because they don't know how great he is. And Doyle, up until the age of 83, 84, was playing in the biggest games in the world and winning every single month. And Phil Ivey, great at everything. And so right now, that's the Mount Rushmore of poker. It could look differently in the future. Negreanu is, going to clamor for one of those spots and may well get there. Eric Seidel, another great player who's performed well all over. He's won a fortune in the cash games. Seidel has. He's won a bunch of bracelets. He's won high rollers. Eric is another great player. He's right there. So Negreanu and Seidel are right there. And there's some other guys too, but I think that's enough to mention for now.
Touching back to your bracelets, you've got 2 in Razz. Was that always your second favorite game?
It seems to me like Razz, I bought into all the hype of everybody saying, oh, we hate Razz. There's only, because everybody hates Razz because there's so much luck involved. They perceived it to be all luck. And then for me, the light went off one year. And I won my first Razz bracelet. And what people miss is it's a great game for reading abilities. Because if someone raises and you raise it, say with, 7-5 deuce, you have to pay attention to all the cards on the board. And the guy behind you re-raised with ace 3-4, and he hits a 3 and a 4. Most people just fold. Yeah. You hit an 8 and a 9. You have a 9 made. Most people are just folding right there because he re-raised you, and all you can see is his ace up. Unbeknownst to you, he actually has 2 pair, but it looks like he has a 6 low or a wheel. So that's where the skill in Razz comes in. Knowing when someone paired and when someone didn't pair, and then representing a hand when you don't actually have it. And so there's all this skill in Razz. And so what happened? My eyes opened up, and I have a first. And then another bracelet, and then a second. I have 2 firsts and a second and a fifth in the last like 6 years in Razz. It's crazy. I just keep getting there. And so, I think I have the best record in the history of Razz now with Ted Forrest, who's we've always recognized as the best Razz player in the world, is second. He's right behind me, but I passed him for best record. But I mean, he might be a better Razz player than me. I have a better record than him, but let me win another Razz bracelet or another second, and then I can really say I already have a better record. But the separation is this much.
We've had players turn up. We've had them hyped up. They've disappeared. They've had new players come. They've been the best. Then they've disappeared. 31 years ago, you won the main event and you've stayed at the top since then. How have you managed it?
Yeah, I still remember someone telling me in 2008 that this was the greatest player in history. And I asked somebody, I said, who is the greatest player? And he told me this is the greatest player in history. And then I basically by 2009 the guy disappeared. So I mean, really, this is the greatest player in history. Why? Because he had a hot year or two in online poker, and so they've come and go. This guy is great and he's gone. This guy's great and he's gone. This guy's great and he's gone. I've watched everybody, and then they not only that, they come in and they say they're greater than me. So they have this thing where people want to bet results against me every year at the World Series of Poker. And I don't make those side bets because I want to stay single-minded. I don't want to think about anybody but me. I don't stake people during the series. Occasionally I'll take a small, but I just want to think about me and winning the bracelet. And so this younger generation comes up to me in 03, 04, 05, 06, 07, 08, 09, every year. And I say, if you want to bet most bracelets won versus me or better results, go see Doyle Brunson. Doyle Brunson's made millions of dollars betting on me, and he's happy to bet you and take your money. You know what I mean? Unless you are better than me, unless you can get better results. And so, and then I think it was a year or two ago that Negreanu said all these players are better than you. And I said, listen, here's what I'll do. You choose. And I was playing with Daniel a little bit. I was getting him to post quicker than he wanted to on social media. I already had my next 6 tweets in my mind. And so I'm like, yeah, name 30 players that are better than me, or 40. And so we put a list out, and I said, I'll bet $100,000 per player on bracelet 1. And he said no. He didn't want to pay me. I think maybe it was 30, but he didn't want to pay me $3 million every time I won a bracelet. Well, since I did that, I won 2 bracelets, so I'd be up $6 million. But his guys might have won 6 bracelets, so maybe I'd only be up $5.4 million. But I think there are a lot of people, and poker inspires a lot of confidence. You win a lot of money, you win a few tournaments, everybody tells you you're great, and all of a sudden you're better than me. So, if you think you are and you like betting, go see Doyle Brunson.
And finally, with everything that you've achieved, both on and off the felt, how would you like to be remembered? And would you have done anything differently?
I mean, I want to be remembered as the greatest poker player of all time. Okay. But I also want to remember someone that's honorable, and has perfect ethics. And I think I have those going. And the other thing I want to remember it for positivity, because I put 8 life tips out there to the world, and my book changes people's lives when they read it.
Yeah.
It changes people's lives. It's just very simple, 8 life tips. And one of them is, write down your yearly goals, 2020 goals, and tape them on your bathroom mirror. That changes people's lives, because every time they do that, they keep hitting their first and second yearly goal. And then they're tweeting to me, oh my God, I hit my first and second goal. Thank you, Phil. So there's a certain focus and it catching the mind when you wake up in the morning and stuff like that. So I would like to be known. I would like to have my book Positivity still being read 100 years from now, because I don't think we talk to many athletes 100 years from now. So I don't think I'll be talked about as a poker player 100 years from now, 100 years after I leave the planet. But maybe Positivity will still be talked about and read.
It has been an absolute pleasure. And fingers crossed, me and Andy, we were on the rail for number 14. We were there. We've actually got a picture of you shaking Andy's hand on the rail in the Rio. And fingers crossed we can do it again when we all get back to a little bit of normality. And the World Series will probably return in 2021. If it's number 16, 17, or 18 because Phil Hellmuth has ripped up the online series, who knows? But it has been an immense pleasure. Phil Hellmuth, once again, thanks ever so much.
Thanks, Phil. Nice interview. I'll see you guys later. Good luck, everybody.
Phil,